The second chakra is your sacral chakra. It is known in Sanskrit, or the Sanskrit name for the sacral chakra is Svad Histhana. Svad Histhana. And that translates to one's own dwelling. The location of the sacral chakra is in your lower abdomen, which basically is your pelvic area. And it is underneath the navel, which is your belly button. The color that is represented for the sacral chakra, or it is represented by the color orange. I'm going to talk more about why I'm talking about the colors as I discussed how you can heal or balance your sacral chakra. But orange colored foods, orange colored crystals, envisioning the color when you're visualizing or meditating while you're envisioning orange. All of this helps balance or unblock your sacral chakra. Like I said, I'll get into it more when we actually talk about how you can harmonize or how you can balance it. The element of the sacral chakra is water. Now, if you're like me, the minute I step the foot, my big toe goes into any body of water, the downloads begin. And I generally feel better. I feel like whenever I go into the ocean or into a river or whatever, a lake, there's almost a healing effect. And if you find yourself connecting, or like you just feel at home near bodies of water, then that signifies something to you, and it is probably related to your sacral chakra. How do you feel whenever you go on a very nice vacation and go swimming in an ocean? Do you not feel rejuvenated and more open to things? The attributes that are governed by your sacral chakra include emotions, relationships, control, pleasure, sensuality, sexuality, desire, and healing. These are if you find yourself blocked, not interested in sex. A lot of people identify themselves as asexual. Seems to be a trend. I'm asexual. That's fine, but you might want to go look at why you're asexual. You don't just block a big part of who we are as a human species. You don't just block sex out of your life unless it's a choice that you have consciously decided that you do not want to engage in. But even if it is a choice, one might want to wonder why you made this choice. And without being too pushy, without being too aggressive or in your face, if there is an element of trauma that has made you decide to become asexual or non-sexual or all the stuff, or hypersexual, that usually indicates some sort of imbalance going on in your sacral chakra that you might want to tend to. Just my 2 cents worth, because I, as a woman, was asexual for a very, very long time. Sex was an issue for me. I will refer that, I'll tell you that I grew up in a very abusive household. The culture I grew up in was very non-accepting of women, nonetheless sexuality of women. So I was blocked completely. I didn't know much about anything. Neither was I ever able to orgasm up until very recently during sex. So these are all things you might want to start looking closely at your sacral chakra if you find yourself struggling with any of them. And I'm not telling you to completely avoid going to your doctor. Please, healthcare is very important. Go to your family doctor, discuss all these things. But I know as a physician that Western medicine has pretty much shut out all these things. Not saying that they won't make a comeback, but for now, Western medicine, allopathic medicine, is very focused on what it can see and examine and give you a drug for. So you might want to discuss it with your physician and get their sort of stamp of approval, or at least let them know what you're doing. Physically, your sacral chakra governs your lungs, your kidneys, all of your sexual as well as your reproductive organs. It also governs your urinary tract, bladder, your spleen, small intestine, low back, as well as your immune system. So, if you find yourself having issues that are not resolved through medical care with any of these organs or systems that I just mentioned, what would it hurt? What would it hurt to maybe eat an orange, go into a bath and meditate, and maybe put some orange essential oils? Would it hurt to try stuff like that? Would it hurt to meditate while you're holding maybe carnelian crystal? Would that be very awful and terrible and anti-scientific? Nonetheless, you can always discuss these things with your physician. The glands that are associated or that are influenced, affected by your sacral chakra, in the female are the ovaries, in the male are the testes. So I should probably, I'm not a fertility expert, but I wonder, and I have to put it out there, all the people that have paid, I don't know how much fertility treatment costs these days, but it's up there in the thousands, or adoption, probably in the hundreds of thousands of dollars. I wonder if the people that go and keep paying money to, try in vitro fertilization or adopt, it's such a struggle. And they go through all these treatments and appointments and they put out all this money. I personally know someone, I think she spent 10 years trying to get pregnant with her husband and they failed. They ended up adopting children from China. But I wonder if we introduced this kind of stuff, what would happen? Are you struggling with fertility? Have you tried any of this? If you do, if you decide to try any of the healing, balancing, harmonizing modalities that I discussed, or if you go out and do your own research and balance your sacral chakra and find yourself suddenly pregnant, that would be amazing. If it does happen to you, please leave a comment. But I can tell you that I personally have heard stories that are very, the theme of these stories are, they were so focused on getting pregnant, this couple, for years and years and years and years, and they put out all this money and they couldn't. And then suddenly when they decided, they gave up and they weren't thinking about adopting anymore, and they started focusing on this and that and the other, traveling, their own relationship, they got pregnant. Do you hear stories like this? So what are the qualities that you would exhibit as a human being if you lived in harmony with your sacral chakra and had it balanced? You will find that you are described as being a kind and a calm, friendly, open-minded and accepting human being who is not, you don't display rigidity in thought. You are able to change your mind, which is a big problem these days. If you're watching politics, people now are incapable of accepting a difference in opinion or a different perspective of anything. thankfully, you have people like me who enjoy perspectives. I enjoy hearing different perspective as long as I'm not being put down or demoralized. I enjoy hearing and I respect other people's perspective. So you're definitely going to find yourself open to change of mind. If it makes sense, not change your mind from something good to something worse. It has to make sense and perhaps be an improvement. But you won't have the rigidity and the indoctrinated thought that is on wide display these days. You will be accepting of change in all its forms, of mind, in your life, in everything. You're not against change. The other thing you're going to find, which I also find a lot of people struggling with, and I struggled with this, is being body positive. Not only being body positive, like wearing sexy things and, showing off, but actually having a positive relationship with your body. You enjoy looking at yourself in the mirror, and you don't go in the mirror and you stare at the pimple on your face or the wrinkle that you have. You know what I mean? You look at yourself as a human being, as a whole, and you appreciate your apparatus. What else would you be able to do? You will be able to easily express your feelings, your emotions. I find some people, it tends to be men, but I'm not going to pin it at one person, one gender. But I find people in relationships, they struggle to express their love. People don't say I love you anymore. Like, I know a person, I've broken up with that person, but I told this person for the past 3 years how much I love them. And up until this point, they have not returned that word to me. They can't say it. So you'll be able to tell people that you love them. You'll be able to express your feelings easily. And you won't expect them to say it back, although it'd be nice. But you just express who you are. That becomes your focus. You are a friendly human being. You also start to become extremely willing to engage and needing to become creative. So you'll find yourself doing things. An example, when I started balancing my chakras, I began doing things like I developed a keen interest in things that I was like, okay, where is this coming from? An example is Tai Chi. I just had this need. Now I was during lockdown. This happened during the COVID lockdowns. So I just found myself needing to do Tai Chi. So I just found a Tai Chi YouTube channel and I started doing Tai Chi. So you're going to find yourself expanding and your creativity sort of being released and flowing through you, which is really, really nice and amazing. The other thing is you're going to be very, very positive about life in general. I used to be extremely pessimistic, extremely negative outlook on everything. You could tell me this is going to happen to you tomorrow and here's the evidence. I would laugh hysterically in your face. And cynicism, negativity and cynicism. So these things you'll become a joyful, happy, non-judgmental human being. Sort of like you have free-spirited human being, which is very nice. These are the type of people that you get drawn to. We get drawn to. Humans get drawn to people like this, right? You also become, if you're a female who is struggling with your period, and I know a lot of women struggling with their periods, it's a good way to balance your menstrual cycle. Now, having said that, please don't ignore your physician's orders or whatever you're on for medication. Use it in conjunction, okay? Nowhere will I ever tell you in this channel to not listen to your family doctor. Everything I'm offering here should be done in conjunction with allopathic medicine. All right, so you're going to have awareness of the need to nurture your appetite in all its shapes and forms, including your desires, your sexual needs, your sensual desires. You're also going to know when enough is enough. You're not going to devolve and become addicted to sex. If you find yourself right now as a human being who is very driven by sex and almost sex is an addiction for you, then that is a problem that is happening with your sacral chakra, and you should probably look at balancing it. You will also have no shame surrounding sex and expressing your sexuality, but yet you're going to be able to maintain boundaries with regards to sex and sexuality, which is amazing. So now that we know what living in harmony with a balanced sacral chakra presents itself as, let's discuss blockages or underactive or hyperactive, just an imbalance in your sacral chakra. You will find yourself controlling, jealous, obsessive, antisocial, constantly in the need for different people and a different environment. You get bored, you get sick of the same place. Also, negativity or obsessive thoughts surrounding sex and sexuality. Some also might find that they have extremely rigid or extremely loose sexual boundaries. Some will find that they prioritize money. They prioritize money and desire when they are making choices, regardless what choices they are. Also dependent, emotional dependence on others, and possessiveness of other people. And being placed in sexual or sensual situations brings a feeling of unease. The other thing that can happen on a physical scale, and I think I touched on this, is reproductive problems such as infertility and repetitive kidney infections as well as bladder infections. Let me repeat what I said before. Please, if you have a bladder infection or repetitive bladder infections and kidney infections, continue your medications, continue seeing your physician, don't stop. What you can do is add balancing your sacral chakra to your routines. If you do yoga, the pose to open up your sacral chakra is the butterfly, as well as the god death pose. So please do take the time to look those poses up. You don't need to go register and pay hundreds of dollars into a yoga studio. You can look them up, do them in your living room, even in your bedroom, even in the shower. Don't fall. Meditation. I love meditation. By the way, the majority of my balancing of chakras, now I do other things as well, but a lot of it is done through meditation. And I wanted to show you something. I wear these malas. Not that I'm trying to get you to buy malas, but this is also one of the ways that I balance my chakras, because they're always on me and I look after my malas, my bracelets, really, really well. I charge them once a week. I cleanse them. I give them intent. Don't get them wet. So this is carnelian. This mala is carnelian, and it's on me constantly when I meditate. So this is a good crystal to balance your sacral chakra. And I find people here in the West, when I went to massage school, they're funny. They have this obsession with crystals, but they have no clue what to do with them. They just like them because they're pretty. Yeah, they're pretty. But do you know what to do with it? Do you know how to use it? Do you know how to take care of it? Do you know how to get this to work for you? It's not just a fashion statement, although I have to say, this is gorgeous. I love my malas. But I have the main ones for the chakras that I know I struggle with the most. So when you're meditating, have the carnelian, regardless how you hold the crystal, if you're wearing it, or hold it in your hand and give that intent. Give that intent that you're holding this crystal because you're using it to help unblock and balance your sacral chakra. Have that intent. So the mantra, sorry, I went on a rant. The mantra that connects with and helps support your sacral chakra is VAM. VAM. And you push it down, just like we talked about with the root chakra. So while you're holding your crystals, VAM, and you meditate. Now, if you want to know the mudra is the following. This is how I do the mudra. Interlace the first 3 fingers. The 2 index fingers touch, the thumb touch, and you do this. It's called the Yoni mudra. You can look up what the meaning of Yoni is. But that's exactly what you're doing, yes. There's no shame here. There's no shame. If you have shame, then you know that your sacral chakra is blocked if you're laughing at this video. So that's the mudra. Not sure if you can see it. But yeah. All right. So affirmations that you can say regardless if you're saying them. You can say them. I say affirmations to myself all the time, to the point that they go through my head. You know when you have a song stuck in your head and you want to get rid of it? I have my affirmations stuck in my head and I never want to get rid of them. When you affirm something to yourself, you're not lying to yourself. A lot of people hate affirmations because like, well, I don't want to say this is not true. When you're affirming something to yourself, you're telling the universe what you want. You're telling the universe who you are. Remember the law of attraction? The universe will respond. The more you say it, it also helps program yourself. If you live in a place or around people that are constantly putting you down, shaming you, whatever, you constantly returning to your center and giving yourself that love, giving yourself that affirmation is amazing. And it pushes all of this negativity away. You become solid in your core. You know who you are. But we have not been programmed. We have lived in society. I don't know if you're like me, but my upbringing was extremely negative. And that's what was stuck with me all my life. And the people around me, all they would say, oh, she's negative. She's negative. She's negative. You're negative. Negative. You're negative. Okay, how can I not be negative? Tell me. Well, here you go. Here are some affirmations for you. I deserve and gratefully accept pleasure and abundance in my life. Say it. Say it all day long to yourself. I honor and proudly express my sexuality. There's nothing wrong with it. What's wrong with it? Yeah. The sacral chakra, by the way, for me, I call it the chakra of sacred sex, which is why the title that you see on the video is there. The video is coming to an end, but before I do finish off, I wanted to read something for you. This is from a paper. I'm gonna link stuff in the description for the people that want evidence. The people that want evidence and dismiss the chakras and dismiss yoga and dismiss spirituality because you can't put it under a microscope and examine it are funny. And they're extremely rigid in their thought. You know why? Because their sacral chakra is blocked. From a paper published in 2005 in Evidence-Based Complementary and Alternative Medicine, the chakras are the energy transducers for subtle energy. Subtle energy is a healing energy that anyone can learn to perceive and utilize. It is a crucial but often missing component in healthcare. So you're going to find more studies in the description, like I said. As I finish off this video, and I hope you enjoyed it as much as I enjoyed delivering it for you, I wanted to tell you that the last most robust work of trying to measure anything related to the chakras was done in 1978. Let me say that again. The last robust scientific work that was done to study anything about chakras was done in 1978 under Valerie Hunt at UCLA. Have a blessed day.